Louder? Okay. All right, thank you. I'm Steve Neal, Lehigh Precinct, and my lovely wife Janelle, also the Lehigh Precinct. So we'll get going right away. I don't know, how much time do we have? 5.
With questions, so...
5. Okay, here we go. Let's go fast. Dan, if you could just hit the first order of business in Florida was to visit our son who plays in the Miami Marlins organization. He's their fastest moving player right now in the organization. So next day, Saturday, we were supposed to go to Whiskey Joe's, but we ended up at Maggiano's because they thought it was going to rain. And you see quite a few people you probably know there: Tom Morrissey, Chris Morrissey, the governor, Paul Gilbert, and the head of the convention committee, and Gutierrez. All right, yeah, a bunch of people. Here we go. Didn't rain a drop. Sunday was the welcome event at the Tropicana Field, and there was lots of food around. So Monday was the convention was pretty much canceled because of Tropical Storm Isaac. You can see a picture of it there. That was Monday, and it stayed far away from us. And one of the beautiful things was getting to be with Ken Bennett. Man, what a blast that guy is. He rented a guitar. He rewrote the words to every song you've ever heard, and we just had a blast with it. There, circled in red, is where the Arizona delegation was on the floor, right stage left off the podium there, right in the front. If you were watching, a lot of times the cameras that were on stage right were shooting right past and see that. Tuesday is when things got going, and there was some quite a bit of controversy during that day. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. It was a long day, 2 to 11:30. The Romney family's up there between the two red lines and the Ryan family. And that was a great speech on Tuesday night, and then he surprised her by coming out. We saw the motorcade Tuesday, blocked off half the traffic in Tampa. The next slide was Vice President nominee Ryan accepted, and he had a lot of great lines. Daniel's got some of them in his slideshow he's got going tonight. Down on the floor, it was, even when there were speakers speaking, it was just constant movement, constant talking, getting to meet people. Janelle has a picture of her by every state she's ever been in, I think.
I've been in all 50s.
Oh, okay. All right. Boy, there were police everywhere. There were no problems, but there were police everywhere. This was that was not atypical to see that many all together. That is not Sheriff Joe, even though this slide makes it sound like it's the zoo with Sheriff Joe. He gave a presentation inside the hall for lunch. Yes.
One of the exciting things about the convention was the breakfasts and lunches and dinners that we sat at the table with the governor for dinner, and just her son was there, so the 4 of us just talked. And Senator Kyle comes and talks to us at breakfast, and Sheriff Joe comes and we have lunch together. And it was quite amazing just to hear our elected representatives one-on-one and talk to them about what's going on with their responsibilities, I guess is the right word.
This was obviously one of the highlights if you saw it. And, one important thing is every single word of the convention was scripted on the teleprompter, but the teleprompter never moved during his entire talk. There was no script. He totally spoke with no notes or anything. So, and the chair, in the opinion of the chair there, I guess. A quote from Thursday night. Take a second to read that. And then the balloon drop. Now this was, they said there was over 100,000 balloons. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life. It was unbelievable. So the speeches, the press noticed a lot of this. There was a lot of criticism, a lot of cheerleading and kind of stuff, but there wasn't a lot of substance. And some people say they didn't want to give them material to go off of, but so me being Galen knows I'm very interested in substance. So it was a little hollow for me, but it was a lot of fun to be there. What's the next one? 2 weeks ago we had press coming out like the DNC, not the RNC. The DNC has a Ron Paul moment. So this was something that was very important on Tuesday, was that there were retroactive changes for this election cycle made to the rules to stop Ron Paul from speaking. And this offended a lot of people, and it offended some sensible people. The Texas delegation got especially upset and almost held the whole thing up. And then there was, so the whole negative thing, the part about it being retroactive was the part that really bothered a lot of people. Not that they couldn't make rule changes, but they had to make them effective for this convention. So that bothered a lot of people. Next one. Oh, Sarah Palin put this on her Facebook page about it. So Sarah Palin put this on her Facebook page about this, about the rule changes and things like that. And then the next slide is very interesting. I didn't learn until I got home from the convention that had the changes they made now been in effect, that Ronald Reagan might have not been able to rise to power because he didn't have a lot of support back in '76, but he made quite an impression in the '76 convention when he was allowed to speak. All right. So one of the things that really struck me is that we really need to be, especially as much pressure as we're under in the Republican Party, we need to really follow the preamble, and we need to look at opportunities to have a bigger tent and not a smaller tent. So what's next? So I just loved being there and getting to have extended discussions with people like Governor Brewer, Secretary of State Ken Bennett, National Committeeman Bruce Ash, Committeewoman Sharon Giese. Sharon was especially kind and thoughtful, I thought. And one of the things when people were tempted to vote for the rules and stuff, you know, the rule changes just because they wanted to do something, you know, I kept finding myself saying you can't do right by doing wrong by making retroactive rule changes and stuff. It was totally unnecessary. Okay, Janelle had kind of she's a little more clued into things than I am in many ways, and she was very upset at some of the things that went on, especially some of the things that we saw people in our delegation doing about the rules.
Some of the rules that they made, unfortunately, were very top-down, and as precinct committeemen and soon to be many state committeemen, the National Party is trying to tell us what to do in Arizona and how we can do it. And we need to be aware of these rules and talk to people and get them fixed so that what we choose to do in our state has a voice in our country, because it's pretty much been eliminated. And it's kind of scary.
And so you saw Sarah Palin talking about that also. Those are some of the things where you can go back. Some of the things they gave us.
We're wearing these just for fun.
You didn't get anywhere without wearing these. You couldn't even get on the bus. You couldn't get into. You couldn't go to the bathroom without these. So next, I think there's 2 left. Oh, there you go. It's not cheap to go to the convention. So take a look at that. Especially the hotel part. If you stay with the delegation. And let's see, next one. So I think the goal here is that we all need to work toward seeing that again on November 6th, the night of November 6th. That's what I'm shooting for. And one last slide to give you a laugh.
Oh, I love this.
What did you say?